Hey everyone, Ben from Snowboard Gamer. In this video, I'm going to give you 10 great stocking stuffer ideas of some card games and board games that you can give as gifts for Christmas or whatever holiday that you celebrate. These are in no particular order, so we're going to start with a game called Deep Sea Adventure. Deep Sea Adventure is for 2 to 6 players ages 8 and up and plays in about 30 minutes. In Deep Sea Adventure, you are scuba divers diving for treasure. This is a push your luck game where you take turns rolling the dice and moving. As soon as someone picks up treasure, they start using up oxygen. Everyone is sharing off the same line of oxygen though. The deeper you dive, the more the treasure is worth. But if you don't make it back to the boat before all the oxygen runs out, you have to drop it all and surface. The more treasure you pick up, the more oxygen you drain, and the harder it is to get back to the boat. The person who collects the most treasure after 3 dives is the winner. I love how portable this game is. It's in a little box about this size. It's always fun. It's not a super deep game. It's just a lot of fun. You roll the dice, you move. You got to make that critical decision of when do you turn around and head back to the boat, or do you dive deeper to try and get more points? The problem when you dive deeper though, if you don't make it back to the boat, you don't get any treasure. This is a great one and easily will fit in stockings. Next game is The Mind. The Mind is for 2 to 4 players ages 8 and up and plays in about 15 minutes. In The Mind, you are all working together to play cards in order from lowest to highest. On level 1, everyone gets 1 card. On level 2, 2 cards, and so on. Whoever thinks they have the lowest card plays first. If you play out of order, you lose a life. There's also a shuriken power-up that you can use to help you beat a level. After beating certain levels, you can get an extra life or more shurikens. In a 4-player game, you're trying to beat level 8. The unique thing about The Mind is that you cannot talk. The reason it's called The Mind is that when you're sitting there, let's say in level 1 and everyone has 1 card. You don't know who has the lowest card. And you're supposed to look into everyone's eyes and try and read their mind and figure out who has the lowest card, and whoever has the lowest card plays first. It sounds like such a simple game, and it is, but it is loads of fun every time we've played it. It's a very difficult game, but we really enjoy The Mind. Next up is a game called Werebeasts. Werebeasts is for 3 to 10 players, ages 8 and up, and plays in about 20 minutes. In Werebeasts, everyone is collecting hilariously drawn werebeasts like the werebago, werenado, wereshark, werekitten, and of course, the actual werewolf. Werechow, that now comes with 90% more villager, is the currency of the game. At the end of the game, you will score points for 2 different werebeasts that you are collecting that is secret. On your turn, you flip over the top card of the deck and auction it off, collecting werechow and or cards from the other players in exchange for the card you flipped over. Cards that you acquire go face up in front of you so everyone can see what you're collecting. Here's the catch though. On your turn, you can also accuse someone of collecting a certain card. If you correctly guess one of their goals, then they are out of the game, and you get either all their cards or werechow. If you're wrong, then you're out of the game and they get your stuff. The game goes until it's down to 2 players or all the werebeasts are out. Then the player with the most points wins. Werebeasts is a really interesting spin on a set collection game. A set collection game is where you're collecting certain kinds of cards. In this case, werebeasts. It's really unique in the fact that if you're too obvious about what you're collecting, you're out of the game. But if you don't get enough of what you're collecting, you're not going to win. So you have to find that balance. Maybe you buy some cards that you don't need to try and throw people off. This is a real fun auction game with a unique twist on secret identities. We love Werebeasts. Next up is a card game called Wizard. Wizard is for 3 to 6 players ages 10 and up and plays in 30 to 60 minutes depending on how many rounds you go. Wizard is a trick-taking game. In round 1, everyone gets 1 card, and in round 5, everyone gets 5 cards. Each trick is started by someone leading off and playing a card. Everyone plays 1 card in order and has to follow suit if they can. The highest card of the leading suit wins the trick. At the beginning of the round, the top card of the deck is flipped over, determining the trump suit for the round. You can only play trump if you're out of the suit that was led with. If trump is played, then the highest trump card wins. The catch though is that the jesters and wizards can be played at any time, even if you still have the suit that was led with. This allows you to do stuff like save a high card or a trump card when someone is trying to fish them out. Jester is nothing and wizard beats everything, even the trump suit. It's like a super trump card. After you get dealt your hand, you bid on how many tricks you think you can get that round. If you meet your bid, even if you bid 0, you get points, along with some bonus points for each trick you won. If you didn't meet your bid, then you are negative. As it says on the box, the winning is in the bidding. If you've played trick-taking games like Hearts or Spades, you'll love Wizard. It's our favorite trick-taking game. It's so simple, played with a standard 52 card deck with these 8 extra cards. The key is in how you bid, for real. You bid 0 and you're still gonna get 20 points every single time. If you're risky and you bid 4, you can potentially get more points, but if you don't hit exactly 4, then you're negative no matter what. This is a really fun trick-taking game, great for a stocking stuffer. Next up is cockroach poker. Cockroach poker is for 2 to 6 players ages 8 and up and plays in 15 to 25 minutes. Cockroach poker is a bluffing game that is easy to learn and quick to play. It is played with a 64 card deck, 8 cards each of 8 different bugs. The entire deck is dealt out and everyone has a hand of cards. On your turn, you choose a card from your hand and slide it face down across the table to someone of your choice and claim that it is a certain card. For example, this is a stink bug. The person receiving the card has to try to figure out if they're bluffing or not. It could be a stink bug, or it could be something else like a cockroach. The person receiving the card has 2 options. 1, yes, it is a stink bug. Or 2, no, it's not a stink bug. If you call it correctly, you send the card back and it goes face up in front of the sender. If you're wrong, it goes face up in front of you. There's no winner in the game, just one loser. The first person to get 4 cards of the same bug in front of them loses and the game is over. This sounds like such a dumb game, but it's not. It's really fun. Super quick and easy to play. It's a great bluffing game. You're trying to get in people's heads like this is a cockroach or this is a stink bug, this is a fly. We love it because there's all these really small nuances of the game that really come out the more and more you play it. For example, if someone has 3 of one bug and you pass them a card, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna claim it's that bug or a different bug? Or what card are you going to pass them? Are you gonna pass them the 4th card that would make them lose and tell them it's a different card? And then the other person has to try and figure out if you're bluffing or not. This one is fun and definitely recommend cockroach poker. Next up is The Game. That's right, it's called The Game. It's for 1 to 5 players ages 8 and up and plays in 20 to 30 minutes. In the game, you have a deck of cards numbered 2 to 99. You take turns playing cards from your hand on any of the 4 piles in the middle of the table. 2 of them start at 100 and 2 start at 1. You have to play cards in order, either ascending or descending. You can't tell your team which cards are in your hand, but you can say stuff like, it'd be really great if you didn't play on this pile. Here's the cool part about the game. If you have a number that is exactly 10 higher or 10 lower, you can either bump up a pile or bump a pile back down. For example, on the 100 piles that are playing descending, if the card is at 42 and I have a 52 in my hand, I can play it and bump it back up 10 to 52, giving us some more breathing room on that pile. If you can get rid of all 98 cards, then you win the game. This is a fun cooperative game. It's made by the same people who made The Mind. It's just got a little different twist to it. We really like the game. This one is not quite as difficult as The Mind. It is beatable. We've never beaten The Mind, but we still enjoy that game. This one we've beaten a few times, but it's still very difficult to beat. Next up is Welcome to the Dungeon. This is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and plays in 30 minutes. In Welcome to the Dungeon, there's a deck of monster cards with various strengths of 1 to 9. There's a hero in the middle of the table with some health and special abilities. For example, this ability automatically defeats all even-numbered monsters. On your turn, you draw the top card from the monster deck and look at it secretly. You then either put it face down into the dungeon, or face down in front of you and remove one of the hero's abilities, making it harder to defeat all the monsters in the dungeon. If you think the dungeon is too loaded with enemies that can't be defeated, then you pass instead of drawing a card. Once everyone has passed except for one person, that person runs the dungeon with the hero and any abilities that remain. If you successfully kill all the monsters in the dungeon without dying, you earn a medal. If you get 2 medals, you win the game. On the flip side, if you get 2 deaths, you're out of the game. I like to describe this game as a game of chicken in the dungeon. So it's got a dungeon theme with monsters and everything, but really it's a game of chicken. Are you gonna draw that top card? Chances are if you draw a top card and put 1 more monster in the dungeon, everyone else might be like, I'm out, I'm passing, and then you're forced to run the dungeon and try and beat all those monsters with whatever heroes left in the middle of the table. This is a really fun one if you like games like that where you're kind of bluffing, but really it's more like a game of chicken. This is really fun. Definitely recommend Welcome to the Dungeon. The next game is Exploding Kittens. This is for 2 to 5 players ages 7 and up and plays in 15 minutes. In Exploding Kittens, there's a deck of cards with silly cat drawings on them and some exploding kittens. The game is simple. Don't hit an exploding kitten. Each person starts with 1 diffuse card, which allows you to diffuse an exploding kitten and put the kitten back anywhere you want to in the deck. If you hit an exploding kitten and do not have a diffuse card, then you blow up and are out of the game. All of the other cards in the deck give you less of a chance to draw an exploding kitten. On your turn, you play as many cards out of your hand as you would like to, then you always end your turn by drawing the top card from the deck and hope it's not an exploding kitten. If it is, you either diffuse it or you're out. This is a really silly game. It's made by the creators of the Oatmeal and the drawings are really funny. This one is lighthearted. There's a little bit of set collection in it, because if you can collect certain cards, then you can maybe pull a card back out of the discard pile, maybe grab a diffuse that's already been used. So there's a little strategy in it, but it's just a really lighthearted, fun game with a silly theme to it. Next up is the Exit series. This is a series of games in a little box that won the Kennerspiel des Jahres, which is the Connoisseur Board Game of the Year a few years ago. This is basically an escape room in the box. Everybody is working together. It's for 1 to 6 players, ages 12 and up, and plays in 1 to 2 hours. Basically, you want to budget an evening, and instead of going to an escape room and spending a ton of money, you can spend $10 to $15 and buy one of the Exit series games. They got all these cool themes to the games. I'm not going to give too much away because I'll let you guys go figure that out. But it's an escape room in the box and really fun. It's a one-time play because you might destroy some components. That's all I'm gonna say. Go check out the Exit series. The last game is Hanami. Hanami is for 2 to 5 players, ages 8 and up, and plays in 25 minutes. In Hanami, you are putting together a fireworks show by creating runs of cards from 1 to 5. Everyone always has 3 cards in their hands. You don't know what is in your hand, but everyone else does since you hold the cards backwards. You take turns telling people what cards they have in their hand, but you can only tell them a number or a color. For example, these 2 are red, or this one is a 3. You only get a certain number of hints to give though. On your turn, instead of giving a hint, you can play a card and hope it is in the right order. If not, the fuse gets shorter on the bomb. 3 mess ups and you lose. You are working together to get a perfect score of 25, all 5 of each color. This is a very challenging cooperative game where you really have to remember the clues that everyone's giving you. It's unique because you're holding the cards backwards, and so you're looking at everyone else's. You have perfect information of everyone's hand at the table except for yours. This one is a blast. It's very difficult to beat. There's a rating on the back of it that tells you how well you've done. Getting a perfect score of 25, I'm not sure I've ever done that before. It is possible, but this is a very challenging co-op game. I enjoy it. My family's not the biggest fan of it, but I really like this game. I hope you enjoyed all these recommendations for stocking stuffers. These are all small games that travel well. The largest game probably is the Exit series game, which is still only about like this big. They're really small box games. Most of them play in 30 minutes or less. So these are great light board games, great for stocking stuffers. All are fairly cheap, less than $20. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the links in the description. I'll link to all of these games on Amazon. If you want to click through and go buy them there, you can do that. Everyone have a great holiday and good luck. Bye-bye.